Are you ready for some Procreate fun? Well, let's jump in! Hi and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Brenda Bakker and I'm from the Netherlands. In this tutorial today I'm going to teach you how to create such a lovely watercolor letter in Procreate using your Apple Pencil. I will be using my brush lettering set, which will be provided for free in my SkillShare class, Sketchy Doodling. That's where all these brushes are in. And if you're not a SkillShare member yet, you can grab a free 2 weeks trial link in the description below. So then you can try it out. What's very important is that you're working on a canvas. A watercolor canvas which has a lot of layers with a lot of textures. This is also provided for free in my Skillshare classes, and you can choose any other canvas you like, or if you have a watercolor canvas yourself or do you have some watercolor brushes, please feel free to use them. It's mostly about the technique that I'm going to teach you in this class, and you can use any brush you like. So I hope you will have fun. For this series of lettering, I was inspired by the book Brushlettering for Everybody by Carla Kamphuis. It's a book which have a lot of letters and different series of every letter of the alphabet. And this book by Carla Kamphuis I'm going to use for inspiration through this series. So, shall we get started? I hope you will draw along, make it your own way. What I was looking for this look is the real authentic watercolor, like when you do it with your Tombow, Edding or Ecoline brush pen, or perhaps you will do it with some Ecoline paint as well. So I wanted to create it like a shadow, as which you want to going to do with a Tombow pen, like the N95, mostly I used for them. And well, it has to do with a lot of layering and added some highlights, splashes, and just have some fun in your Procreate. And yes, you can do this a lot with a lot of tricks in your Procreate, but I love to do a lot of it by hand, and that's what I want to teach you, because that's where my love is. So I hope you will draw along, and I hope you will like it, and I hope to see your results. You can tag me on Instagram if you made your piece afterwards. And if you like it, please hit the like button underneath this video. This will help me a lot. So jump in and let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is to sketch out where I want my letter to be. So sort of in the middle. So I create a free space around my letter, approximately like this. It doesn't have to be precise. It doesn't matter so much, but just a little bit. And then I'm going to create a new layer above that, but first I'm going to lower the opacity of this one. Create a new layer on top of that. And then I go to my brush lettering pen. It's my BB Messy brush pen. And you can choose whatever letter you love, whatever brush you like, it doesn't matter. It's about the size of a 43% on this canvas. And I'm selecting black. And I'm going to create a letter A. And I'm keeping the lines a little bit thicker. When I push down, I push a little bit harder. When I go up, I do it a little bit lighter, but not too small because I want to blend in some colors. So I will do it again. So I'm going to guide you through it. I'm going to push and lift. So push downward and lift a little bit upward. So my stroke is a little bit thinner. You see, when I go slowly, yeah, I have some pressure sensitivity in the brush, so you will see it. So I go and do it again. So 2-finger undo tap. I'm going to push and lift. And now it's more smooth this way. Now I'm going to push and lift and lift. I'm not going to push, maybe in this corner a little bit more. So I'm going downwards with a push, lift, push, lift, push. So I ended up with a push. There my brush is going to be thicker. Now when I've done that, I could get rid of this one behind it and make sure my letter is more in the center, just a little bit eyeball, like this. So, and now I don't need this black one for now, but I need the shape of all the black pixels here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this layer. Then I'm going to make this black pixels invisible, but they are still there, but not visible on this canvas. So I see this little square. And now when I zoom in, you just see the shape, but not the black, but it's there. I can click it on and off if I want to. Now I'm going to create another layer on top of it. And that's where my actual watercolor is going to be. So I have my black lettered layer below, but it's off. And then I'm going to the layer above, and that is where I'm going to lay down my colors. And in this case, I will go to my BB watercolor scribble brush. And I'm choosing a lovely light green color. And I'm going to lay down my colors. See, like if you do a normal water painting, see this as the area you wet your paper. So it only is going to be in here. You can tap and dab to get more darkness. And for the lower part of the letter, I'm going to choose this teal, just slightly colored. And at the bottom of this letter, I'm going to create some more depth by tapping this color, because this brush is on a multiplied selection. So when I tap and dab, it's going to be any darker. Now I want to blend this in, so I'm going to smoothen these colors within. I go to my smudge tool, and my smudge tool I want to be in the same brush. So when I hit the smudge tool, I'm going to leave it there, and you can see a blue line up here, and that will say I have the same brush selected as I was drawing with. So hit it there, smudge with the current brush, it says. And now I want to smudge these lines a little bit, but I don't want to get out of the lines. I can't, but when I do, I will drag a little bit of white that's outside of these lines in here, and I don't want that. So I must make my brush small, so I can be within these letters just by tapping and dabbing, because I don't want to smudge all away of my textures. So that's where I'm going to blend in those colors. And yes, you can do this also with a trick, but I just like the blending so much, so I don't want to be working a lot of digital. So that's what I want to do it this way. I love the blending so much. I can do this for hours. I have fun with it. I think this is a little bit too light, and here so it's also too light, so I go back to my green and lay in some new colors. So then go back to my smudge tool again, and I can blend them a bit. Just making sure I don't erase all of my texture. And because watercolor always have darker edges at the side, I'm going to duplicate this layer. So we have two of them, and you see instantly the color gets darker. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase a bit of the centerpiece of the upper letter. So I'm going to my eraser tool, again with the same brush. So I hit my eraser tool with the current brush, and I'm going to make it also so it's still fitting inside. And now I'm not going to tap and dab, because when I just hit it once, it will only erase one layer, but when I keep hitting it, it will erase more. So maybe perhaps in the darker area I can go over it again, but if I do that in the light areas, I won't have any color left. So you see what I'm doing? I'm slightly erasing it, and you still see the darker edges. And it's just slightly, but I think that would be enough. I love to do this so much. And I also love those bright colors. So, and if you want to see what part you erased, let's see, and if we make this layer really beneath it invisible, so you can see you only have the darker edges left. But I think that it will be okay by now. And maybe you can change the opacity of this if you want to see more. This is also very fun. I think this will be okay. You have more of a see-through now. And what we're going to do now is make a shadow underneath this. But because it's a see-through color, when I turn on my black again, it will see through. It will take away all of the color above because it's a watercolor and watercolor is transparent. So don't get scared. I'm going to turn this on. So now you see the black is taken all over it. And now I'm going to duplicate this black layer again and create the top black one. I'm going to make it an opaque white. So I select white, I select my layer, and then again go to the layer and fill that layer. So now I have the two watercolor on top, a very opaque white underneath it, so my black doesn't show through. And now I'm going to remove this black a little bit because my light is coming from up here. So I'm going to remove this layer with the arrow tool a little bit to this side. And I think this is way too hard, but it looks nice. And now I'm going to change the opacity. If you did your brush lettering with the brush tool, brush pens, if you are familiar with the Tombow pens, I want to make it the color of an N95. So I'm going to change the opacity, make it lighter. And now you see it looks like it has a shadow beneath it. So very slightly, and I like it like this. Yes, I think this is awesome. And now we're going to make some highlights on top of them. So I'm going to create a new layer all the way on top. And I go to my dry ink texture brush. And there I'm going to make some highlights there where the light would catch the I think this would look nice. Just a little stripe and 2 dots on the thicker parts of the letter. So and here, perhaps here also, just because it looks happy. And here, I think that would be awesome. It's too thick. I think this one is going to make me happy. Yeah, a lovely cheerful A to begin with. And some splashes around it, just like these. Let's go to our greens. And my new layer on top, yes, because we have our background gray. We have our white underneath my two ink layers because we don't want to have a see-through. And on top of that we have our highlights, and now I'm going to make some splashes around it. So let's do them a little bit here and green. And some teal ones down here, just to your own liking. So just do what you want to create of it. And I hope you like this first tutorial. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this episode until the very end. If you like this video and think I've earned it, please give this video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't already. More detailed tutorials can be found on SkillShare. These and all other links can be found in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!